pitchfork becomes winding roads. A personal sacred space becomes a place for the public to lay down their loads, where I, in the area, I am interested in witnessing to spiritual abodes. Whatever it is needs to be open to personal mythologization and experiences despite the toads. Whatever their path, it should be a place which is mystical and for the historical, whether or not in fjords. And I'm going to share some other comments that I said. Unlocking the spirit, not Nargargole videos. I will return to that next Saturday, maybe. Unlocking the Spirits of the Underworld Ritual Part 2 with E.A. Quetting and J.D. Temple, the ritual. Because J.D. Temple went on E.A. Quetting's boot camp, and I may not agree with or take part in certain beliefs or practices, but I wouldn't mind hanging out with either of them. I don't think it's ever going to happen, but I'm just saying. My upcoming series of 45 videos for my New Age Religion playlist has something like this, but without worshipping chthonic or demonic entities. I try to visit the 8 caves for rituals on a yearly basis. I haven't shared any of those experiences, have I? I'll have to do that. So Loren is a red-headed fairy. I, too, try to move on from my stasis. The old us is something we need to bury. That was far more sensual than I expected. Witnessing to what was in the video. The serpent is probably you that you have reflected. All should be able to let go, spiritually, more than at parties. Unlocking the Spirits of the Underworld Ritual, Part 1 with E.A. Quetting and J.D. Temple. My upcoming series of 45 videos for my New Age Religion playlist. It's still upcoming. I haven't got the prints yet. Has something like this, but without worshipping chthonic or demonic entities. I try to visit the 8 caves for rituals on a yearly basis. So Lauren is a red-headed fairy. I true time move. Wait. I put the same comment twice here. Part 1. Part 2. Part 1. Huh. Okay, I'm sorry for that one. Where the 2 seas meets, I won't share all of that. The will changes in thoughts and impulses was my rod. My creed was laid out and experienced on the table. Gender only factors into the vehicle and not the states or stations in themselves. Tell us about distinctions. Come get your knives. This cup holds intuition, instinct, the universe, sacred traditions speak to me by more than emotions. The empirical and metaphysical worlds are here, but neither needs to change convictions. The revelation, inspiration, and instinct is enough to revoke the inner and outer fruition. And, okay. Skipping along. I invoked myself in many ways as I invoked. And then the first 3 lines. That was the 4th line. In fundamentalist and conservative Islam, there's detailed information about types and context of meditation. A salat and other valid religious forms are direct access to our spirituality, but religion is not mainly karma yoga. Kisses on the mouth and other such things are not essential memories to those who lack the fetishes. Unless we're like, hey, that was supposed to feel a lot better, or, something, Because as a little kid, if you end up not being into that and not developing those tastes, that doesn't mean you don't try them out. Sierra, Battle of Badr, Yasser Qadi, 28th November 2018. Another sickness of faith is to think that your God are what you consider Your enemies of the spiritual type will take away our free will in life and make us do things without our choice. And some people need to be told to consider the variety of literal meanings. Okay, let's scroll back a little bit. The one quality needed for the path, or Sorcery of the Dead, tapping into your sorcery, now available. This isn't EA quitting, this is sort of a spin-off of that. It showed up in a search for EA quitting, because even your magical title of Zora Astral Kettering and sales routine is like EAK. Even the addiction to many drugs, confusion, and paying for orthodox ritual part is there. Of course, I think that's acting. This seems like a joke, but it doesn't mean you don't believe it. Learn how to become an undieable deity. All clay beings and fire beings shall die. Why is the right-hand path mystery? Why is the left-hand path sexy? What if treating yourself as a god makes you cry? Black magic secret weapon revealed? Okay, I'm sure that's an EA quitting video. Jinn have their choices too and tend to let humans. Physical health, in more ways than neutralizing urine pH, helps spiritual ability. Water with algae is even better for the mind. Real food is better than vitamins, but vitamins should be kept for emergencies and even minor drug withdrawals. Addiction, periods. The shayateen may be more likely to enter or leave through the larger pores in the left foot or through the anus and dirty genitals. Apparently, Satan doesn't like the clean genitals as much. A good physical specimen makes a more desirable host to possess. Lucifuge, Raphael, and the Keys to Godhood. A JD Temple video. Flee the light and wear a cloth about the neck like a sick man. Is the anti-Lucifer. R. Baruch Awir. JDT, you seem to be following in the faith of EAK and making it work for you. By folklore. There is no Godhead. Either there is only one God, or a number of competing gods and goddesses that have bred. Lucifuge, Raphael, can help cut a person off from God, like the Azazel they dread. Malektaus, Iblis, Diabolus are more than an egregor that is fed, yet they remain, principles referenced in my head. Biokinesis, psychokinesis, manipulation of the air element magic. I'm not seeing something other than possibly picking up unconsciously on patterns you saw in the same way a person familiar with an oracle will shuffle and guess at a rate greater than chance due to subconscious connections to memory and associations. I also see you jostle the camera doing that. And, I'm jostling the camera right now, because I hurt. Sierra 41. In English, there are no actual curse words when they're used appropriately. Turning the other cheek draws attention to the sinful aggression of the other. Ransom or bail does not work as well when they deny the possibility of freedom. Okay, better safe than sorry is not as good of a reason as people think it is. Reasons for scholarly conclusions are superior to claims that all scholars agree. Being the first you know of with an interpretation or a less popular one does not negate its possibility. Its validity. It is better that harm comes to good people as a result of being merciful or careful than to exceed justice upon one presumed a threat. Comment on a Llewellyn Von Lee video. There are different types of love for different beings. In relationships, love truly sings. Love of what one is devoted to brings more than all other beings and things. Spread it out like it's lost, or stifle the air, for silence tings. Why should I neglect personal love in the occult desire? Cover me with earth, for with the details I still will bother. I expected some things and was given others upon my pyre. They can try to extinguish me with their holy water. Wrapped in wool or whatever, my love is an ever burning fire. The knife strikes the wayfarer. Heal me with the holy grail later. At the table is my chosen fetter. I forever hold out my wand with a non sequitur. And it's important to remember. Okay. It's important to remember you can create your own sacred space. Some people like a carpet or a cloth or something, or maybe they have a corner of a table that's literally their sacred space. Some people are stuck in a prison and confined and can't even stand up, and maybe they have to sit or lay down to do their rituals, whether obliged or not. That's what they're forced to do, and as long as they realize they're being forced. But as far as a temple, I don't know. I think there's some material here that could be used to build an outside temple. And I am thinking of, taking, there's like 12 wooden doors and nailing them together or fastening them together, using other wood as a floor, coating all of that stuff, and other wood and stuff as a roof, and making a pretty big shack, maybe the size of where I live right now, and figuring out how to get it watertight. But anyways, let's see about further comments here that I can share something about. Seerah of Prophet Muhammad 40, Yasser Qadi, Battle of Badr number 5. Battle of Badr was probably like Iblis's chance to do as before, but bigger to have the Prophet and his main followers killed at once. That's what is thought about that incident. Praying over martyrs is not necessary, but all funerals are good deeds obliged on the living. All should be buried in their area. The dead don't answer prayers. And some things attributed to Muhammad were falsehood. That answers the controversy or whether or not the dead hear the living. Okay, that's a lot to say. The hidden history of Christmas. Mitra, and so-called hero gods or hero goddesses were worshipped as a Jesus-like figure since prehistory in the 5 tribes of the Persians and Hindus. Okay, there are no pagan or heathen holidays, but those were Roman terms for the poor, and the Catholic Church insults for all monotheists and non-Christians till 1967. Not all symbolic decorations are amulets. Some are talismans, the same way people wear a hat or use a prayer rug. Okay, 12 nights that were usually the first of Yule and extended to the Christian New Year, celebrating the alleged ritual genital mutilation. Some Teutonic and Slavic and Mongolian cultures did have ceremonies for when the darkest 36th of the year was over and everyone could notice the days were getting longer and the sun was higher in the sky. Okay, I thought there was going to be something darker in my comment there. E.A. Coetting, Occult Bootcamp Review, Real Deal, Lux et Nox. I haven't seen besides this video, but you could very well replace EAK for a number of his videos, of his viewers. Bipolar disorder and many other such things are often a chemical imbalance brought on by drugs or whatever they otherwise consume. Diet, music therapy, and spiritual ritual are probably the most effective treatments for psychiatric illness. I watched all of the videos on the E.A. Coetting channel, and I would say his value centers on eisegesis and exegesis, rather than the actual content itself. I didn't know he still did the professional boot camp thing, but I'm sure I probably would have a celebrity reaction to him too, and probably will not seem as adversarial to him in person as some interpret my take to him online. I do think that EAK is the sort of character that is pursuing some of the occult currents he mentions in a way that he would were he head of a channel with as little as a few views per video, and it costs far more than comes from it. I still think if he wasn't making money that he still would be saying a lot of the stuff that he did on his channel. Occult Unmasked, EA Quitting Kingdom of Flames Review, Episode 5. I also would read any rare and valuable book I own myself. I'm reading a book that's, to get one of those 1944 copies, you're looking at paying close to $700. But the point is to learn and to benefit others from your books, not to just put them on the shelf and be pretty. Of course, that is the point for some people. Grimoires have biographies as a rule, but E.U. Quitting heavily conflicts with the context in Kingdoms of Flame and other media he has been a part of. Doesn't he also say in this book that he wasn't completely honest? But, my question always was why his squares don't have the characters, and why he can never explain how the language is sounded out by its characters, or how their meaning is arranged. I don't practice demonology or soothsaying, but I thought my hundreds of drug-free psychedelic experiences, with my reworking and expounding the pseudo-Solomonic, could be put into TV or a movie series on spiritual life. Put into a TV or movie series on spiritual life. Sometimes I'm trying to edit these as I say them. My theory with whom you mention is that the opponent of becoming a living God, or the hierophany, is that they just may have not received any more of its unholy reality in his awareness. Our psycho-spiritual being and our physical body is all we can control, but not the jinn. I have considered a theory of unfallen angels as into 5 to 12 dimensions, with the fallen angels as into 4 and as little as 1, less than the light beings. E.E. Quitting certainly is experienced with drugs, and didn't know at times what was the baddest in appearance of demons, but I am unsure where his experience claims are, what, and the media he's exposed to produce, and what is the metaphysical realization of the unholy beings he seeks alliance with. Become a living God material, thus far, has been worth the time to go over for me, even though I only worship God, and am not an extremist, and try to be humble. I will share more of my dreams in more than just one or more of the 45 video series I wrote to add to my New Age religion playlist. And I'm going to completely switch over now. Historical beginnings. And I will probably return next Saturday with the same program, but I intend to start my Buddhist series. Sorry for squeaking the table here.